Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video for Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, where I'm going to be taking on the Challenge from Leviathan Chaos quest. And for this one I'm taking along a party of Cloud, Warrior of Light and Sherlotta, with a friend Cloud and a Ramu as a summon. So I'm finally back. In fact, I've literally just got back tonight. I've just got in from the airport. I kind of flew back, and security went very smoothly this time around. And I just thought, you know, what better way to spend my Friday evening than to record some Opera Omnia for you lovely people out there. So, as you can see, I've been keeping up to my summon board farming relatively well, because I kind of had some downtime in the evenings, and, you know, what better way to unwind than to spam a bunch of Leviathan and kill a bunch of snakes, and harvest those lovely gems and tickets. So yeah, I also managed to do this Chaos quest. To be honest, I'll be quite honest. The board farming is getting somewhat repetitive at the moment, but at the same time, I cannot say no to the resources. I'm sure the eagle-eyed among you have already noticed the 530k gems just kind of sitting there, that's greyed out in the background, and I have a very healthy amount of tickets as well. In fact, I've finished all the boards except Ash. For treasure, that is. I still have a few more board masteries to go back and do, but I got the treasure farming out of the way. So yeah, that's definitely nice. I'll not say no to extra stats and extra resources, especially not the amount of, like, you know, we get such huge monthly injections of pulling resources right now because we get summon boards one month and we get story chapters the next month. There's no downtime, you know what I mean? Which I really like. In fact, I'm going to end up with more pulling resources than I actually have books and ingots to realise all the EX pluses lying around. So for that reason, I'm probably going to go at least 50k deep on a couple of banners that's coming up. Definitely Ultimecia, and maybe Rem and Machina as well, because I'm hoping to actually buy some extra books from those banners, because more books means more ingots, which means more purple characters, which means more fun, to be honest. So I've actually got my WoL to 1LB over here, because it just gives him 2 extra brave hits on his Shining Shield, which, you know, every little helps. It is actually much less of a wet noodle to use if you've got everyone fully batteried up, if you got everyone fully shielded up, because the potency of his EX actually increases depending on the amount of shields you've actually given to your party. So if everyone has really strong shields, and let's say that WoL has like Ramza buffs, for instance, and you use his EX, it actually does a fair amount of damage. Well, he's not going to be doing that much damage in this party, because Sherlotta only gives 10% attack aura, and something I have learned, which I already kind of knew, but experience has definitely backed that fact up, is that attack auras are very important in Chaos, especially when boss HP starts getting lower, because without them you just won't do any damage. And you kind of really need the attack buffs to penetrate a boss's defenses, and sometimes 40% attack can be the difference between dropping ones and dropping like thousands of damage, and you know, it's really important. But because Cloud is like a damage unit through and through, yeah, he's got utility, he's got paralysis, he's got all the rest of it, but he's got a really high attack stat as well, because he's got his self buffs on finishing touch, and he's got like 2 passives that give him extra attack. He's got, like, you know what I mean, like you do finishing touch and you get 50% physical attack up, but his passives over here, he's got like smash attack boost up, which is like friggin' 40% attack after he does it for 8 turns after he does a launch, and then he gets like 40% attack when he's just being buffed, and then, you know, he's got freaking huge attack stat with all of my artifacts and his purple weapon, and you can stack generic attack buffs on Cloud because he only gives himself a physical attack buff. You know what I mean? You can really stack attack on Cloud, so he does very well without that much extra auras, at least early on in the fight. So what I'm actually going to be aiming to do is I'm going to be aiming to bring in the friend Cloud much earlier on in the fight, while he actually does decent damage, because later on we're going to need Sherlotta and we're going to need WoL to actually prop up Cloud. In fact, I would bring along Ramza, but there's one particular mechanic about this fight that makes me think that Sherlotta is the superior choice, and it's not just that everyone has synergy stats and doesn't need Ramza's attack. Obviously I'm bringing Ramu because Leviathan's weak to lightning element, and also because who can say no to more max bravery, you know what I mean? I think max brave is, seriously, max brave and attack are definitely the most important stats in Opera Omnia, as far as just raw offensive stats go. So anyway, let's jump into it and let's see how well we do. Okay, so we have an extremely crappy turn order right now, because we've got Cloud, and then we've got Sherlotta, and WoL is all the way over there, which is not really what I want. So we're going to have to do Finishing Touch to get up the buffs on Cloud for sure. And with Sherlotta, we're going to have to burn a skill 1, and then we're just going to have to use Tranquil Light, because whenever Leviathan has his gauge fully charged, he uses, he doesn't use Tidal Wave, he uses Tsunami. And that actually just gives him a ridiculous amount of Brave out of nowhere, and it's also a full party bravery attack. And if you do not shave the bravery that the boss has, then you're pretty much dead. And if you allow yourself to get broken, then it's going to put up a resist veil, which is just going to absolutely kill your damage per turn, so that's not really any good either. You know what I mean? We really don't want that to be happening. So ideally WoL would have gone there, so we could have put shields on everyone. Speaking of WoL putting shields on everyone, I mean, look at this nonsense. Like, we're actually straight up dead here. So yeah, that just happened. I'm going to leave this in the video as an example of what can happen in this fight, because the starting turn order is RNG and it sucks. So I'm going to be right back when I've got a little bit of a more advantageous start. There we go, that's looking a fair bit better, don't you think? Okay, so there's absolutely no shame in invoking unlimited reset works until you actually get a desired turn order, because the RNG at the start is just actually ridiculous. Although this is also another example of some dodgy shit that can happen, because what's going to happen here is the boss is going to attack, like, we're going to break it and push it back, and it's just going to take 2 turns in a row, and Sherlotta's Sap is the only thing that is going to prevent us from dying. So this is why Leviathan Life Up passive on the summon boards is actually quite important, because it can help protect you in situations like this, where you have no choice but to straight up take HP damage. Except I seem to be a little bit more fortunate this time, because Cloud actually does take a turn afterwards, which definitely did not happen the first time that I tried this. It is a possibility that you can literally just see double A right there, and you're just like, oh fuck, what are you supposed to do about that? You know what I mean? Okay, so we've got WoL to put up the Shields of Glory, so we should be totally fine here. And then Cloud can go and paralyze this thing, because its bravery will just, well, it's okay for the moment, but in the future it just reaches unshavably high levels. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to swap out Sherlotta for the friend Cloud straight away, because that way we've got WoL's auras, we've got his attack buffs on our friend Cloud, and we need to bring in the friend Cloud early on in the fight, because otherwise this thing is just going to be too tough and too tanky to deal any respectable damage without having both Sherlotta and WoL in your party. So if we just bring in Cloud now, then he can actually still deal something resembling damage, which is what we want. And I'm going to use Throw Buckler. I'm going to use most of my bucklers at the start, because I'm going to take advantage of the fact that we get sapped, so we can actually keep pushing the boss's turn order back, which is kind of really good in my opinion. So let's see, if we get 60k, that's 89k, that's... okay, that's actually totally fine if I use Meteorain now. Otherwise I would have used the Critical Crush just for the extra max brave, but we're fine as we are. See what I told you about double A? Thankfully we can still break the goddamn thing. Yeah, you know what? I'll use no, I won't use. I will use Shining Wave. I'll try it. It won't be at full power because we don't have a shield on the friend Cloud over here, but it'll still do something, and it'll save on a shield use. It's not too bad. go, we're dropping all the 9s, which is what we like to see. Maybe not quite as much damage as we would have done with Sherlotta, but hey, you know, but hey. So it's going to take a turn now, which is super annoying, and now it's going to be in basically in kill range for Tsunami, and by that what I mean is it's just going to gain a stupid amount of bravery. So well, actually, thankfully our turns are staggered, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop Meteorain with my cloud, and then the friend cloud I'm going to use Paralyze, like cross slash plus. Because we could get more points if we used Finishing Touch, but you can see that our cloud is not going to get his turn back until after the boss has a turn, and if we kind of leave things like this, well actually no, because our friend cloud will be able to use Meteorain, so no, it would actually be for the best if I do use Finishing Touch here. And by for the best I mean, of course, the highest score, because that's blatantly what's the most important thing. Yeah, why not? I'll shield again. And so you see what I mean about the absurd levels of bravery that we end up having to deal with. I would just like to point out that this is only the second time it's used that skill. It gets worse. Oh, and now we're nearly dealing no damage with his EX already. That's awesome. Still gonna try and do it. Nope, not enough to shave. Okay, so Charlotta's back here. Okay, sorry about that, I just had a little bit of an interruption there. So Charlotta's come back, and not a moment too soon I might add. So she actually still deals a relatively respectable amount of damage, which is nice. Might as well just refresh the shields on everyone again. But let's not use too many of these shields, because we are going to need them. And yeah, we're suddenly staring down the maw of the beast again right now. Let's see, what do we do here? Yeah. Let's drop a finishing touch. So the sap kind of helps. That's absolute, like, tickling levels of damage. No, this is a trick button, I'm not going to use it. So it's really kind of silly how much the boss actually helps you with your own momentum. Because, like, the sap that it inflicts just ends up being more of a help than it is a hindrance. Okay, so I'll try and break it here, and of course obviously fail. Okay, so yeah, it's going to take its turn now, which should be fine because it got instant turn rate, so it's unlikely to be able to get another turn, which means we can actually just shave off the absurdly huge amounts of bravery with Sherlotta. I should really have used WoL's additional ability there. Oh yeah, and we've got a nice cross slash coming in from our cloud here, which we absolutely need to use. So you can kind of argue that we're wasting sap turns here, but we just really need to get that bravery number down, and it's about time that Sherlotta gets her EX aura up. So let's use a skill 2. I'm going to try and save most of my skill 2s for the end of the fight, because that's when, you know, it's when Sherlotta will have the, it's when it will have the most absolute value, because its defense will be higher than usual, so because she deals a static amount of damage based on the amount of bravery you've got, it's better to use it when the defense is really high and its health is really low. But there's no shame in using few when it seems most appropriate. So we should be able to shave this down. No problem. Let's at least pretend like we're trying, you know? Okay, so I'm going to use Critical Crush here because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be going into the summon not on Cloud's next turn, but on the turn after that. Actually, I could probably recharge the EX here and just go into summon if I wanted. Which is exactly what I think I'm going to do. Let's get all nicely set up. Should be able to take some momentum here. Let's get everyone nicely batteried up, and I'm going to launch again. Now I may end up regretting essentially burning across Slash Plus, but I'm just going in for the finish right now. Let's do that to get some brave regen going. Yeah, I don't think so somehow. we can't scum turn rate that way, unfortunately. But if this doesn't finish it off, then Sherlotta most assuredly will. Oh, so close. So very, very close. So now we just hope it doesn't take instant turn rate and we're all going to be fine. Nope, we're fine. There we go. No problem. Well, few problems. And a better score than I had last time. Not quite maximum, but pretty clean run, I think. Pretty clean. That's going to be my my initial run of this event. And by initial run, I mean my initial recorded run. So I'm going to come back to this, no doubt. I've got another team comp in mind, and I little bit of a surprise on that one. So you'll just kind of have to wait and see. To be honest, it's been done before. You can probably already guess what it is. I got a little bit pull happy with my tickets. So yeah, I have another team in mind, and I'm going to come back to it with that. And with all that said and done, thanks everyone for watching, and I will see you next time. Until then, take care and goodbye.